If you need the best display and performance on a smartphone, can't stand using the Go edition of mobile applications, or even entry-level devices in general, that is to say you are more of a pro power user, well, this video is not for you. Just hit that like button to help us with the algorithm and you can leave right away. But if you need to know about a smartphone that's affordable under $100 or 40,000 naira, probably to lead someone into smartphones like a kid or an elderly person, maybe your grandma, then here's a review of the Infinix Smart HD 2021. And so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. Packaging on here isn't anything different from what we've seen with Infinix smartphones at this level. After you take off the plastic wrap and on opening the box, you would get to see the smartphone itself, which I'd set aside for now. Next up are the micro USB cable and the 3.5mm jack headphones. A 6-watt charging brick is what you get to see here also, and there is a plastic case to protect this rear of this smartphone, a couple paperwork and a screen protection film also. Well, that's about the packaging. Coming over to design, well, you shouldn't expect a whole lot from the smartphone. You get a regular handy smartphone, quite comfortable to hold in one hand with some relatively large bezels and dewdrop notch at the front. Also having an earpiece opening and a front LED flash above the screen. Speaking of displays, you are getting a 6.1 HD IPS LCD panel, pretty much okay for whoever gets a smartphone for $90. I mean, there's nothing to complain about here. I wouldn't say this is the best display under sunlight, but it gets the job done with the price of this glass. The right side has the volume rocker and the power button, as you might have guessed, mouthpiece opening and micro USB to the bottom of the smartphone, while the 3.5mm jack port is what you see at the top. The rear, on the other hand, houses the 8-megapixel camera sensor with an LED flash in this lovely camera array design. The traditional fingerprint sensor is also placed below that, under which goes the Infinix branding, and you're also left with a double grille speaker opening at the bottom left corner of this rear. Yeah, if you're wondering where you should put your SIMs on the smartphone, well, you can take the rear apart. It's actually been a while since I saw something like this. And under this cover is a non-removable 5000 mAh battery, 2 slots for your nano SIMs, and a memory expansion slot. Now, the battery life is the major selling point for the smartphone. A 5000 mAh battery, which would definitely last you all day, even through the next day. And that depends on your use case, obviously. The only issue I have with this huge battery capacity on the Smart HD 2021 would be the charging brick that comes bundled with the smartphone. You get a 6-watt charger, which takes roughly 6.5 hours to charge this device from 0 to 100%, and that's quite a long time. The only way to go about this and don't really feel stressed charging the smartphone would be charging through the night while you're asleep, yeah? Otherwise, that's a lot of time to wait. But hey, you get up to 2 days of use on a single charge from the smartphone, so you should actually put that into consideration. For the quick specs here, you get 2 GB of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage, of course expandable via the micro SD card slot. The MediaTek MT6580P chipset having 4 cores, which I think we found also on the Infinix Hot 7. Performance, like I mentioned earlier, is not the best thing in the world. You definitely would notice how long it takes to load certain applications or even unlock the smartphone using the fingerprint sensor at the rear. You also could see the stutters when playing CPU demanding titles, especially when coming from higher end smartphones. But for the regular day-to-day use and someone targeting or wanting to get this device, you can get by using the smartphone and the Google 10 Go edition of apps on this smartphone, as they try to optimize apps for the Smart HD, giving you the best you can get from this nonetheless indolent processor in today's standard. Another aspect that isn't as impressive as the battery here would be the cameras. They get you decent 8-megapixel rear photos from the rear cameras here and 5-megapixel photos from the front-facing camera, as can be seen on the screen right now. Honestly, I can't really complain here about the quality of photos you get from this smartphone. Every time I take a look at the price tag of this device, it simply kinda justifies the quality of photos you are paying for. Videos can be recorded at up to 720p. You do not get video stabilization from both the front and the rear cameras, and here's what the video looks like too. What do you guys think about the photos coming from this smartphone, which you can get right now for $85 or 40,000 naira? Yeah, that's a price. So generally, this isn't that smartphone you might want to get if your expectations in terms of the camera and performance are quite up there. In fact, on a second thought, I still wouldn't consider this a bad deal, especially for what it's worth. This is about a very much decent package you get right now for the price. Let me know in the comment section, guys, if there are better alternatives. I'd love to check them out also. Do not forget that you get massive wins in terms of the battery department here, which is something the target audience for the Smart HD 2021 here would love at this price point. Do I recommend this smartphone right now for the price? I would say yes. As at time of making this video, this is one of the devices you can get right now if you are on a very tight budget and want good battery life, and also want to have a good feel of what entry-level devices can offer you right now. Thanks for watching, guys. Smash that like button, subscribe, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Kawidati.